Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Saturday, March the 26th Sydney time, so the end of the trading session in New York. And I'm making these videos today rather than Monday because I need to go to the fracture clinic about my collarbone and have another look at that. Now, the situation here, before I go here, I just want to go back a step and go back to the S&P 500 for a moment, okay? So what we've been doing is we've been counting up as 1 and 2 here, and then up for 3 and 4 here. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, that I will probably have a blind spot in the analysis that we have to get through in a couple of different places. Now, with this wave 3 here and wave 4 here, I've got 5 little waves up here, right? So that means that I can bring this wave 5 down to this particular spot here and have a top in place. This blue line is also the 61.8%. Now, yeah, so I don't know if that's the top, and this will be the same with a lot of stocks as well. Or we've got wave 1 here and we go back for wave 2. In this case, obviously we're on the close now, so we're going to be seeing this market dance around a little bit. But just to let you know that it can pull back to the 61.8% mark for this little wave 2 here, and then it could also move up from that point. But what it does, it gives you that low at that point, so that's a point that you could look to short at that point. If this is not the case, then this little 5 waves up here is going to be wave 1, and then we'll need to put this wave 2 in here, and then we'll be going up for another sequence here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and then we'll have this as the top. So probably between 4600 and 4650. I really like 4650 a lot. So we can have this sitting here for that, and then that would be the top. And even when we get to this top here, we still won't know if it's wave 1 here or if it's wave C of B, because as a wave 1 here we would have an A, B, C correction, and then we will go up again for that. And as a C of B, we'll just keep on continuing down and making new lows below 4,000. Okay, so this is basically where we're up to at the moment. And before we look at Apple, this is the triple Q here on 10 tick chart, and here I've got all the waves counted out 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2. So it's definitely 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2. I won't bore you to death, but 5 waves in this structure for wave 3 and 4, and then 5 here for this, and ABC for 4 here. So this will be the same as Apple that we're looking at as well. So the same thing applies here as well. Do we have this wave 5 top in play here, or do we have wave 1 and 2 here? So this looks pretty impulsive on that spike there. So what we can do in this case is just take this high and low. I'm taking it to there. We're already at the 61.8%. So yeah, we don't want to see it much further down. So we can go over to the levels of this case for this one. 360, it's knocking its head there, 350. So the halfway mark will be the most important here. So that will be 355. So if that becomes the retested resistance, well then you'll know that we need to come down further. It will be coming down further at that point. So yeah, this reflects, Apple reflects the triple Q, and the triple Q reflects the S&P 500. This is where they're all at the moment. So yeah, just to recap a little bit, with all of these markets, I don't know if we've got this as wave 1 and 2, and wave 2 can certainly go to here, and then 3, 4, 5 here. Now, because Friday closed reasonably firm, it wasn't like it's closed, on its highs or anything. Yeah, so yeah, this is right in the middle really, a bit confusing. So it could be either, because if Friday closes strong, then Monday will follow through on that, So that's the triple Q, and that's the S&P. So what you could do is that you could also trade long above this high here, and then that would take you up into wave 3, 4, and 5, take you higher up, really for day traders. And for the bigger picture here, below this wave 4 here, in all bull cases would take you, and the same with the triple Q, the Nasdaq, that wave 4 there, that will take you lower at that point, but obviously use the levels to build in short trades on that side. So that's really where we're at with all of this. Okay, so when we look at Apple, I've got Apple the same count, but it's just 1 degree higher. So just where this green wave 4 is here on the S&P and the triple Q, I've got this wave 4 here. It's in blue, but it's the same thing. And here we're on 5 ticks, so it looks a little bit bigger, but the same thing applies as well. Do we have wave 1 up here, or do we have wave 5 as the top? If it's wave 1, then we'll have wave 2, 3, 4, and 5 move higher. Yeah, and if it is a top here, we can have it as wave 1 top, and that means we'll have an ABC that would pull back into here and then move up, or we have wave C and we've got the top in place at that point. So yeah, look, it's a little bit of a rock and a hard place at this stage, but in terms of tactics, we can look to go short under here. So that means that because this is from this low to this high here, and this is the 72, because we're in group 2 here at the moment, minor group 2. So minor group 2 is 165, 172, and 180. So we're in here, so it's normally like a bullish case for me, being in this space here. So yeah, but 172 is a retested resistance, then you can look to move into that space. That's a little bit big. So if that's the 172, you want that retest there. That retest could pop back above here and then come down again as well. But in a way, that's where you're really looking for the short trades at 172 there, adding a small position and then adding under 170, adding under 168, that kind of thing. So we may have a top in. There's a reasonable case for that, or we can just have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 moving up higher for that. That also means too that tactically you can go long above that point there, but in that case you would always gravitate over the closest largest number, and here we've got 170. So if we're building a case with the levels, it would be 1, 2, and 3 for group 1, and then 5, and then 8 here. And when we talk about 8, we also talk about group 2, so that would be 17650 in here for the lower end of group 2, and then 170, 72, 20 in here for that. And they'll play out. You'll be able to use those levels. You'll see them become support and resistance, and it's just nice to watch the market as it moves through these numbers. But that's the story. So basically, if we get 5 waves up here, we'll be looking at 180 at this point, and probably wave 3 and 4 will play out in group 2 here for that. So yeah, I'm not sure if we should call that wave 1 and 2 in here, or this is going to be the A wave, the B, and the C here, because it's got 5 waves to that point. So probably the A, the B, and the C to this point. They're a little bit unsure about that, but anyway, long above the 175, or just look for a classic trading levels pattern on that level, and you may just get that from here. So you'll just get that first high above the level and the second one, and so on, and you can look to move in, and yeah, so that's that. So that's where we are, folks, with everything. So at least at this point, you know that we're close to the top. We could have a top in play. If this is breached, then you know that you can go long to 180, and if the 172 becomes the retested resistance, then you can start building in trades on the short side. So even though we don't know exactly what's going on, we can use highs and lows and levels to build in trades on that front. Alrighty. This comes the same with Amazon as well. Well, it doesn't actually. Well, this is why I'm thinking we got 5 up here, because we're looking at this as wave 4 yesterday. Unless I've got all this wrong here, and this is wave 1 to the downside. But if that's wave 4, then we can look at this as wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and moving up here higher. So Yeah, so here we've got 3,000 and we've got group 1, minor group 1 of 1, 2 and 3. And in this case too, because we're just working on a tick chart, it's quite big here, the 134, the 34 is also important in terms of the trading levels, because when you're looking at the Fibonacci numbers as a price ratio here, you got 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55. So it will play a strong part here, and it will trade above it, but it may not find it as support at the end of the day. So it's a number that we can use in that space. So yeah, so in this case, it does appear that, you know, we could move up from there, but by all means, if this 32 here becomes the retested resistance, then you need to be short under that. And that's what we normally do in the trading levels. If you're trading, you know, up into the higher end of group 1 and it comes back and it finds the 32 here, the number 2 I call it, as the resistance, then what happens normally is it gets pulled back to the closest largest number. So you can always sort of depend on that. But what I have to say is that a lot of the time, you know, it will come down to, well, on the price over here, it can come down to 80, 180, 170, 172 and 165, because that's all of a smaller subgroup 2 in there. But mostly, if it's going to come down deeper, then it'll come to the 150 and bounce off that. So then you need to use the 150 here. So yeah, it's just good to watch that on a bearish side of the market. It's very helpful if you're a little bit patient with it. But yeah, anyway, we'll keep talking about that if we get down there. But otherwise, we just look for. I mean, it can be down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2. So taking that top out there would also create long trades at that point, because it's well above the 61.8% at that point. But you just trade to the 34 and exit at that point. Okay, Alphabet. So in the bigger picture, we can look at wave 3 here with an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4, and then wave 1 and 2 here, and then wave 1 and 2 here. Otherwise, the bearish picture is from the B wave here down for 1 here, an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for wave 2, and then down for 3, 4, 5 down here further. So in this little move to the upside here, I think I've got it on 5 ticks, so I'm just going to go straight to that. And it'll be the same situation. We probably won't be able to nail it down just yet, but here I've been counting 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5, the third and fourth wave here. I don't have I've probably either got to look at all of this as wave 1 and 2 here. It's probably something like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here or something, but it's not. It looks like it's got 3 waves here, so I'm just a little bit unsure about that. But yeah, it hasn't finished in 5. So first of all, you can short it under this wave 4 here. That's that. Otherwise, we're just going to be moving up higher, and you could buy new highs if you wanted to at this point. I could buy new highs above that there, actually. You just plonk that on there. Because if this was down for 1, and I don't think it is, because I can see that I mean, it's pretty hard to read this market in a way, because it's, you know, it's not a lot of volume, but it does look like an A and a B and a C wave here. But at this token here, I've only got 3 waves as well here, so it could get a little bit more complicated, and it looks like I've just got 3 waves to here. So yeah, but buying new highs would suffice, but, you know, just take it to the next level and get out here on that. Meta, so I think that we're pretty close to a top here, but once again, if the other markets are going to push up, then we've got to go with that. So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit dodgy as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for, or 1 and 2 and 3 and an A and a B and a C for 4 here. I just don't know how to read that, to be honest. If you're long here, then I think we're just talking about getting out up here anyway, so we can dump that now anyway. So yeah, look, currently here we have 3 waves down. You know, if this yeah, so I don't really know how to read this here. It's a little bit like this one here, because I've got this as the A wave, then an A and a B and a C here for the B wave. So it also looks a little bit weird in here as well. So perhaps I need to look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in here for the third wave, a fourth wave, and a fifth wave to go up into 230 and finish off up there. So I'm a little bit unsure about this. Just for a moment though, if we look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 here and 4 here, and if we make a new low below here, say, then that would give us 5 waves down at that point. If we got 5 waves down, then we can look at that as an ABC pattern coming back up, and then we would come down again from that. So if we make a new low below here, right, down here, then that would give us that 5 waves down. And then in that case, we can use to short it over here for that. And that means we'll also be at number 2 here, but otherwise we'll have to look at it further to the upside over here for that. I mean, it looks like 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, and then yeah, it's just a little bit not like, yeah. If it's a bit iffy, then it's a bit iffy, you know. If you wanted to go long here, by the way, you can also, if it doesn't make a new low here, then you can go long above this top here. But you need to start scaling out at sort of 228 and 230. Okay, and Microsoft. So yeah. This is the bearish pattern that we've got, and we're looking at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here. And if the other markets are going to, I mean, normally I'll just go long above the top here. That's what I would do. But when looking at the S&P and so on, just looking at the S&P now, it looks like it wants to I'm just going to remove that. Looks like it wants to move up through here. So that would Oopsie-daisy. So that means that if it takes that top out, it means we are going higher. So that means in this case here, we're going to be going up here a little bit further, hitting that trend line up here before turning at that point. Okay, so we're going to go up higher at that point. We're going to take out that top there for that. I think we talked about being long in here yesterday, but I'll leave that up to you. Yeah, so I don't particularly want to go long. I mean, you know, I like to find trends because that's what the money's in, the trend. And yeah, so I'll just wait. But short-term traders can look to the upside if the S&P takes out that top there, which it looks like it will. Okay, moving on. So Tesla. So Tesla, we've got it as wave 3 here with an A and a B and a C wave for wave 4. Okay. Now, the different ways we can look at it on the bullish side, I'll look at it 2 ways on the bullish side and 1 on the bearish side. But it doesn't really matter what happens. I mean, it doesn't. Nothing is confirmed until we can get the intraday pattern right. So we can look at it as wave 1 and wave 2 here, and then wave 1 here. Probably one more little high, maybe, you know, but I'll just plonk that there for the moment, and then wave 2 here. So that would be the bullish count. We could also look at it in terms of a bullish count with this here as wave 1 here, wave 2 here, wave 3 here coming up to the last bit, and the wave 4 here, and then the wave 5 here for wave 1 here, and then back for wave 2 into this space, which is probably the case, you know, because it is such a nice ABC pattern here. The downside to this, if, you know, the S&P and all that do move to the downside, well, then obviously this market's going to move to the downside as well, and we would have to look at all of this here as an ABC correction here. But I don't particularly like that because the C wave here is really quite strong. You know, it's really displaying, I mean, in both cases, it would be a C wave or wave 1, and it means that the structure would be the same as 5 waves, but it's not a lazy 5 waves, it's a strong 5 waves. So the B wave here would be in my opinion, would be a secondary count in this case. But yeah, so a couple of things here first, though, is that we can go long and short based on the 1,000 here. But if the S&P is going to move up higher, then we'll probably get that here as well. So we're probably not finished in here before we've got probably one more little high to move in here before we get this 3-4 pattern happening in here. Or yeah, so anyway, just shooting the breeze on that. So let's just go in and have a look at this in a couple of different ways. So we'll go, I think we've got 2,000 first. I don't know if that's the bullish count. That's the bearish count here as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. I can count 5 waves up here, but if this is going to push up through here, it's going to have another little high in line with the rest of the market. So then wave C would need to be over here for that, because I've just counted this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, which I kind of like. But and it may not make a new, this doesn't may not make a new high here. We may get that more complicated 4th wave sort of occurring in this space, you know. But either wave 3 will be here or will be over here. I don't think it's advantageous to us to chase this to the upside as a trend trader, but obviously short-term traders can look at this. It's sitting nice and square on the 1,000, but we'll move in a little bit closer on the 1,000 tick chart. So yeah, I was looking at it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. It rings okay like that, but either wave 1 or 3 here for the bullish count and wave 4 here. So we may end up with, it looks quite impulsive on this side here and hasn't made a new low here. So we may get something like, you know, sort of somewhere up half, you know, 2/3, not quite taking out the top here, and then something down like this. I just think there's a little bit more to be had here first. I mean, normally I'd be looking to go long above here and short below here, but where the S&P and the NASI is and so on, you know, it's like, so if I bring back over the triple Q, which will be a part of all of this, so you know, if we're looking at this, it looks like the case, so we can just remove that now. So we can look at this as 1 and 2 in here, and yeah, so we'll be going up for the 3rd wave. So that's going to take Monday and Tuesday to do that at least. So it's just going to move up that point up to there. So we could sort of move up there. If I go to the 100 tick chart now. So yeah, look, there's a bit of work to do within all of this. I don't know. You know, I did count 5 waves up to that point. Maybe this is the wave 4 here already for this, you know, as some sort of, God, it hasn't even made a new low from this point here, do you know, and that point there, that move here is corrective, so that means we should take out this low here, unless we sort of put this as the B wave here and the C wave here as a truncated move here, and then put the wave 4 here, and this is not really displaying a nice impulse wave either here, you know, so there's a lot to sort of go on here. But I think the thing is that you can trade long here, and that will take us up to probably the 50 area maybe. But I don't want to make a bigger decision here for a trend just yet. I want the S&P and the NASI to top out. Once they top out here in this 5-wave sequence here, and then they'll pull back. And then we start making decisions over this side, but we don't make them too quickly. Of course, you can short it on the 5th wave here, and I might be able to help you with that, get close to it, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, I see too many options here for this, so I can see that we'll either move up a little way here, and then we'll be moving back down here and having a deeper wave 4 here. That's why I don't want to get trapped in this, or we could even, you know, move higher still here and make a new high here, and then still come back in here for, you know, a structure here, and this wave 4 that I got here may need to go over here, but I just don't even know where to put that yet. And this wave 4 correction should pull back over here somewhere. So it's not, you know, it's just not, nothing's here yet for this, you know. Sorry, it won't be that wave 4. too close. It's not going to be that one. So we're going to be looking at these. So it's probably the third wave here, I'd say. Anyway, it's not ready yet, you know. We had our trade up here, we took profit, and now we need to wait. We need to wait for it to mature before we do anything. Short-term traders can trade it up if you want to. You could probably bring that down to the second high here, but I'm not going to do that. But it does look like it wants to move up further. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. And Square is in the same boat as well as the other markets. I don't know if we've got wave 1 here and 2 here and 1 here, and then looking for wave 2 at this point, which should be further down. It does appear that we've got, well, we don't have 5 waves down just yet. Still need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There'll be another little low here. It looks like 5 waves, doesn't it? But it's probably an A and a B here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So not ready to make a trade here yet. Any long trade here to be, you know, for this to be short, we'd need a classic trading levels pattern here. We've got this. We've got this. So what we need next is this. And then even when we get that, this move up here, we don't want to chase it, then we'll still need the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave coming back, and then we can go long at that point. That would be the safe trade, and that will put us into a bull market. And we have to wait for that, because otherwise if we get half of this, because the S&P and the NASI and all of these need to top out into this wave 5, they're going to come down at that point. So, you know, this may just have this, not an A, B, C here, maybe 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then continue to move down at that point. So this is really the only place that I can see that would be the safe trade to catch us. You know, I mean, and I'm talking to be moving all the way, you know, a much stronger move to the upside. So we have to move past this 3-wave move here. If this wave 2 here, I've got it as a B wave or wave 2. If it was smaller in relationship to this first move up here, then I'd be more inclined to have it as a wave 2, you know. It still could be a wave 2, but it's rather big when it compares to wave 1 here, and it shouldn't be like that. It should just be much smaller anyway. You know, it should be, if this is 60%, if you take that as 1 here, as 100%, well then this should be like 60%, but this is bigger than this here, so the proportions are not right. So it can be a B wave here, so that's why we can't get caught here. This move here though, if I just look, I think we've got this on, was it 100 ticks? Yeah, I did have a look at it. So it looked like it had 5 waves here for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, or an A and a B and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then 1, 2. This could be 4th here too. There could be one more low in here, but it doesn't really matter that much. It can be counted as, well, I've had it as wave 3 and wave 4 here. The 38.2% retracement level is here, so we could quite easily get that first high above the level over the sessions ahead, you know. So we still need to wait for all of that. I mean, just straight, it looks like 5 waves here, and I suppose, you know, if it is 5 waves here, well then what will occur is it will only come back up to the 50-60% and then fail from that point. So what we can do on the short side, if it's just going to move from here to here, then we can short it when it comes back again over here, if it only goes up to that point, you know, and then comes back. We can look to short it at that stage. So anyway, we've just got to wait for it to fall into place. All of these just need to sort of roll into place, and then we can just pick the thread up from that point. Okay, so the banks, BAC here. it's quite possible, like yesterday we talked about this looking like an impulse wave to the downside. I could see it as a corrective wave as well, as an A wave to here, a B wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. But then we've got this extra little one here as well. So if it'll probably push up in line with the others for another 5, another sequence up here to top out first. But if it drops back below the 43 at this point, then we can look to short it. But otherwise we need to look at it as wave 3 here and 4 here and 5 here. And that will give us 5 waves up at that point. And then we can look at that being the top, and then we just need to monitor it at that point. We'll either have an ABC pattern here, we can go along from here, or it's just going to move up to here, have after 3 waves down, and then it will move down from that point, and then we can look to short it under this point. So that will be how they all play out. Just these banks looked a little bit more sort of bearish at this point. Same with Morgan's here as wave 1 or wave A here, B or 2 here, and then accounting 5 waves up here. In this case, there's a better case for 5 waves down here. In fact, you could look at shorting this under this low here for that, but we don't know if that's the case just yet. That can just be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and build up a little bit further. So yeah, there's a possibility. I mean, I counted 5 waves up here, so it could be finished. But otherwise we'll look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then we'll probably need to look at this as wave 3 here if we get a new high here, because I think I've counted it right at this point. And in this case, if we were looking at a bullish case, we'd be looking at wave 1, and when it pulls back it would be wave 2 at that point. So I don't know if that's there yet, because this is just in 3 waves so far. I don't have 5 waves up. If this moves up here, then we've got a good case for 5 waves, and we can just wait for the ABC pullback, and then we can go in long at this point. I mean, we'll be able to do a better job than that, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell, This is Goldman's here. This is a little bit rougher here. In this case here, this move down through to here is in 3 waves. So it could be down for 1 and back for 2 and down for 1 and back for 2 and down for 1 and back for 2 and keep moving down through here. So once again, you can also short below this point here. But I want everything to finish off first before we make a decision about this, because we're talking about a trend trade, and we're waiting for to get that information occurring. Just wanted to check on the S&P before I left. So yes, it has made a new little high here, so it does appear that we'll be moving a little bit higher first with all of this. So yeah, just to recap a little bit, most of these on Monday we should see these guys finish off, and then it's just a bit of a wait at that point. You can short it at this point, but what we're really looking for is an ABC pattern to go long again, or a bigger bearish pattern is going to emerge. And if the bearish pattern emerges as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, then we'll be able to catch it on this side too. Do you know what I mean? So you don't have to chase the market, because if you don't get it at the turn here, then you're going to be carrying a loss in wave 2 over here, and we'll need to get it over this point. It's not as easy as you think it is to short on the turn and get through, because this wave 2 pulling back, it can pull back, it can pull back to 1 point of the previous high here, which puts you under pressure, especially if you're too late getting in, like down here and here. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and also make the trade. If you're gonna hold through this 1 and 2 here, then just make that first trade on the turn here very, very small. And then we can also look at, if we do get 5 waves here, we can look to short at the 61.8% higher up here, and then build in all the way on this side over here for that. Alrighty, well that's it. So yeah, so there's still going to be, as I mentioned before, once this top comes into play and this starts to move down here, we will have a blind spot, because we don't know if it's going to be a 5-wave structure or a 3-wave structure. Okay, so there'll be a point there in the next video that we won't know where we're at, but we will be able to talk about certain things and refine things to have a better understanding to be long or shorter in the bigger picture. Alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.